Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we're getting into TWICETAGRAM Part 2. We're getting into the next 4 songs, and I'm super excited for this. This album has been amazing so far. I feel fundamentally different as a person having listened to the first few songs, which I know is dramatic, but it's more fun that way anyway. So I am cautiously excited for this as we get into more of this album. So let's just check out the first song. All right, we're starting off with an onomatopoeia. I don't know what that could mean, anything. That's just where I have to be at with TWICE songs. I'm like, the title doesn't give me enough, so. Ooh. I like reverb there. There's a lot of synths going on. Ooh, bass. Wasn't expecting the slowdown. Oh, okay, so I'm like, the sound in my ears. I'm like, okay, that's where we're getting the onomatopoeia. Gotcha. There's a lot happening this. I know that we ended off the last part with the bop, right? So I was like, energy-wise, I feel like we're probably going to be up here for the energy. But you know what? They caught me off guard at the beginning of this album, so who knows? But the delivery of the vocals is almost like this mimicking of robotic kind of cadence to it. There's so many layers of synths in the back of the production that my brain is just like, I don't know. But maybe that's part of it, is that they're also, because of this relationship, a little bit overwhelmed and all over the place. Entirely possible. But at the moment, my brain is trying to calibrate to this song. Ooh, the bass though. Ooh, that rise in the vocal melody. Vocals. Okay, I love the repetition that we have with some of the onomatopoeias and the chorus, and then the dance when we have these little moments of them repeating these specific syllables and stuff. But also we have those heels are slightly uncomfortable. I'm wondering, because we had fast forward, right? Where there was the line about wanting to wear high heels, wasn't it? Trading in your sneakers for high heels. Maybe that's pulling that forward of a little bit of growing pains a little bit, because fast forward was about, I want to skip forward to the part where we're not in all the awkward beginning stages of a relationship. I also pulled a bit from that line specifically about growing your hair out and trading in like your sneakers for heels and stuff. That was a bit of wanting to be treated as a grown-up, right? You're in that like in-between phase of not really being like a high schooler teenager, but you're not quite like a grown-up yet. The kind of like 18 to 25 range where you're like this weird limbo space of all of your experiences with being a person are from a teenager's perspective, but you are now expected to figure out how to be an adult, right? So maybe it's like digging into that a little bit, especially since it's Tsui who's supposedly singing it. It sounds like it is to me. Because I know line distribution isn't always like the most accurate in lyric videos. It sounds like it's her to me. So having the youngest of the group singing that as well, I feel like is a little bit telling to have she's going through that process while this song is coming out. So just maybe an interesting connection. But I love the build up in some of the melodies in the chorus as well. And just like fun, like little ad libs and stuff like layered in the back too. Like it bops. The bass is great in this song. I love the cry that Taeyong puts here. I love Momo's voice. Little like cheers in the background. Ooh, the build up. Okay, like part of me, okay, my brain is like a little bit confuzzled by this one, and that's okay. It happens every once in a while. Twice too, like every once in a while they're just like, hang on, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff, and I'm just like, hang on, because I feel like it's so easy to, especially at this era of Twice, to like put them in a bubble and think of them through a very specific lens. And they've consistently, especially their earlier music, come out with these really interesting production decisions, and the way that they decide to put the vocal melodies together and stuff, like they just do interesting things that I'm like, this is making my brain malfunction a little bit, just because like it's not following the patterns that I expect from music, which is like on me, right? It's just because like my brain likes patterns, and when you break those patterns, my brain just like, gets a little bit defensive. But they do that a lot with their earlier music. There's always like at least a one song where I'm just like, I don't even know what to do with this song. But it's great in retrospect. Like it's difficult for the first reaction because I'm trying to process it in real time, whereas like later on when I've heard it a bunch of times, it's a little bit easier for me to digest the song. But I love that they consistently do it though. It's like throwing in these curveballs and doing something interesting with their B-sides and playing around with stuff, because I think that it's interesting to see how you can break the patterns and rules of music, and it just throws me for a loop in real time. So I'm trying really hard to process through for this, especially at the beginning of a reaction. I don't want to be like completely out of it for the rest of this, but I'm trying to figure out the bells. I'm assuming it's just bells chiming as excitement or like a signal that something important is happening. I don't know. I think bells, I think alarms. So I think something bad, but I'm assuming that's not what we're doing given the lyrical content. I love the ad-lib in the back too. I don't like the idea of a lie though. Gio really said vocals on this track though. Look, you can say whatever you want about this song. Gio didn't need to give that many vocal moments of her just being like, hang on, let me just do a little show-stopping vocal in here. Just cause we gotta give it 110%, right? But yeah, I'm assuming bells is a good chiming of something exciting happening, because we have the fireworks as well, falling in love. The one line though that was about the noisy music dies down, the lie, I don't know if that's a translation thing, but the lie makes me uncomfortable, that it's almost like this subversion of the feeling, like just because you feel all of these things in the moment and you're getting swept up in the moment and the excitement and these mixture of feelings that you feel when you're like physically with this person and wanting them to feel that same way about you. But we've also had some moments in this album of them talking about not having a relationship, like falling through and not actually being like what they thought, right? Like feeling lied to, someone not feeling the same way about them, and we had them like talking about walking away and feeling nothing and believing that this person cared about you, but it turns out that they didn't, and still having that like feeling kind of linger of you like caring about them but them not necessarily caring about you back, right? So it just feels like an ominous note. Now again, it could be a translation thing, but it just feels like a little ominous thing to put in this overall upbeat happy song. But it bops. Love the bass. There was a lot going on with the vocal melodies and the different synths and production stuff that was like making my brain malfunction just a little bit. But I know that if I go back and I listen to the song a bunch of times, I'm gonna have more thoughts about it. It's just real time. There's only so much my brain can do. Okay, it just is what it is. But a bop all around. Serving vocals, a lot of fun. Love all the little layered cheers and stuff. The vocal samples that they had in the back were lots of fun too. But I think it's just gonna take me a few listens to like really digest it properly. All right, we got 24/7. Now I'm assuming that means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What does that mean in context? I don't know. I just try to guess a little bit. I'm here to give commentary, but I don't know. Ooh. Oof. Mina's voice though.
어제와 똑같은 오늘 하루 눈에 그려지는 내일은 나도 이제 I can't deal with it yet.
Seems a little sad.
지긋지긋한 알람 소리가 들리는 똑같은 하루하루가 시작돼. No.
Ooh, okay, I know that we're getting into the chorus. I know we're probably getting into the chorus, but love the snaps. Love the lower range that we're getting with the vocals. Look, if you're gonna start off the song with two of my favorite voices in this group, between Mina and Junghyun, I love their voices so much. And I'm just, especially when Mina gets into her lower range, there's just something about it. I think it's because she has such a light, airy voice that just floats angelically throughout songs that whenever she gets into that lower range, it's just like, it's so contrastive to where she usually is in her voice that it just stands out more. But oh, Tsui also sounds fantastic here. I always love when I get Tsui lines because early on, we were just taking crumbs, weren't we? I get heated about it now because she has better line distribution in more of their recent songs. So I'm like, hang on now when I go back. But I love the guitar too that's in this, but a little bit sad so far of like 24/7. I'm thinking more of having a very repetitive routine, getting stuck in a rut, stuck in the same old, sick of my alarm. Today's the same as yesterday. I hear complaints each week. It repeats this idea of dealing with the same things, dealing with the same problems, going through the same cycles of stuff. And you're like, I just want to do something that makes me happier or more engaged or is more fulfilling, right? And then instead I'm like stuck in this like repetition of the same day over and over again, like a Groundhog Day kind of situation, which is definitely deviating from the love songs that we get a lot of. So interested to see how this develops as we go. Ooh, that beat came in with a force. Cute. Ooh, okay. That chorus came up with a force with that beat, especially since it's like fairly like minimal. Like it isn't like it's like this huge drop or anything like that, but the percussion, the beat pad comes in so hard, especially in contrast to the more melancholy delivery of the first verse. Love some of the repetition. I love the words float away, just pop them. This idea of bubbles and just popping them, then they dissipate and stuff like that. Like my phone rings, bothering me, getting interrupted and ignoring it instead and doing something else, choosing to do something more like fun, ignoring the mundane, of ignoring the stressors of dealing with complaints and problems and all of that, especially if we're comparing it to maybe this is just me talking as an adult, but work. That's what I think of when you're just going through the motions and repeating the same thing over and over again. I associate that with work in my life because I spend a lot of time doing the same things over and over again. And I feel like that might be tied into it, especially with the phone and responsibility that comes with having that. And sometimes you just need a break and you just need to like go and do something fun and spontaneous and break out of that cycle a little bit more, because I feel like we all fall into comfortable patterns. Even when we do have time to ourselves, we tend to fall back on the same kinds of things instead of trying something new, trying something exciting, challenging ourselves, following that like wonder that we have, especially as we like get older to a point where we do have like jobs and stuff. When you're a kid, you just do things because you feel like doing them in the moment and you don't really think it through. Whereas as adults, you have a lot of stuff to plan around and it can be a lot harder to have that spontaneity, especially since I think I speak for many of us who have jobs where when you do have time off, you're like, and I have a whole list of things I need to do just to function as a person. And that can be like overwhelming because you're giving up that time to do stuff that feels like obligatory and like you have to do it. But sometimes you just need to do something fun. And it just picks up so much pace in the chorus, and that's so much fun. I love this. Ooh, like they were keeping the beat. We're breaking it down a little.
웃음소리를 듣기 싫어 나 그만 던져버려 버려 머릿속을 비워 비워 just move on 지긋지긋한 알람 소리가 들리는 똑같은 하루하루가 시작돼 no no no
I love that the percussion, like the drum that comes in and like repeated no, no, no as well. Love that we're keeping the beat with the verse in that, like, holding that energy and taking it forward. This idea of I hear sounds of laughter, but I don't want to hear it. This idea of being in your own kind of low mood. We were talking, there was a one line that was like, it's sunny, but there are clouds over my head. Even though there are good things, there are happy things, there's all of this excitement and energy in the world around me. That's not where I'm at mentally. And I think that you can pull that from what I was saying before. Even if you have a more mundane routine, going to your job, going through the motions and all of that, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that we all have moments where there's a reason that's our routine and our go-to because it's comforting and there are things in it that bring us joy. Just because you tend to spend your downtime doing similar things doesn't mean that you necessarily don't enjoy them, right? I spend a lot of time checking out new music because I love it, but it is something that I do a lot of, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I need a break, right? It's not that I don't enjoy it all the time, it's just sometimes you're in a kind of funk and you need something that's going to break you out of that a little bit more than just go with your like go-to, right? Like, you need to do something a little bit more carefree, and I think that fits with them talking about the one line of don't think about it, throw it out of your head or whatever, that yeah, empty your head and just move on. This idea of sometimes you need to just leave the problem where it is, right? And sometimes it's like you're just frustrated with something. Sometimes you just have a problem. Sometimes there's just something that is going on in your life that is not great. And it's there and it's something that you have to deal with. And sometimes you just need to step away from it for a minute and do something fun and do something that makes you happy. I've talked about that before with making videos. I've gone through some stuff whilst having this channel, and it is nice to take a break from that. Just set it aside, put it in its own little box. I'm gonna set it over there and I'm gonna make a fun video because it's gonna make me feel better for a little bit. And then I'm gonna go back and deal with the thing. But sometimes you just need to set it aside and have a moment, right? I think that it's pulling into that. Of course, there could be lots of other stuff of, I don't know, when you decide to embrace fun when you are like in a funk and things can, if you keep thinking of this upsets me and this frustrates me, when you keep ruminating on the things that are frustrating you, it gives them more power, it amplifies them. And at a certain point, you just have to let it go and be like, how much do I actually care about this? And just let it lie because you'll be so much better off. I find that I definitely have times where I'm like frustrated or emotional about something and I'm like, hang on a second, do I actually care about this? Because I don't think I do. And I'm like, oh, then it's fine. And I'm like, I can just move on and leave it because I don't actually care about this thing as much as I thought I did.
No, no. 24/7 징징 울려오는 핸드폰에 everyday 귀찮게 굴러도 don't worry hey 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 신경 쓰려 하지마 24/7 둥둥 떠오르는 걱정을 톡 터뜨려버리는 거야 I know it hey 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 걱정하지마 yeah alright girl get 'em up you ready to party 24/7 here we go
Ooh, okay. With the horn section coming through?
더 크게 소리쳐 Say la 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 좀 더 높이 뛰어 널 던져봐 싹 다 던져봐
Ooh, love that vocal melody.
24/7 징징 울려오는 핸드폰에 everyday
I bet this is so much fun live.
don't worry hey 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 신경 쓰려 하지마 24/7 둥둥 떠오르는 걱정을 톡 터뜨려버리는 거야 I know it hey 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 걱정하지마 지긋지긋한 알람 소리가 들려와 그래도 난 나오게 이젠 좋아 지금은 난 yeah
Okay, I have multiple thoughts One, I love that we got like an instrumental upbeat moment in the middle there, because a whole part of the song is like, hey, just like, have fun for a moment, just like set whatever is bugging you aside for a minute and let yourself be happy and have fun and just live in this moment, and then you can go back to the things, right? It is okay to set things down for a little bit, things that are bothering you, things that are frustrating you or getting in the way of you doing something else. Sometimes you just have to do stuff, right? And it's not fun and it's not ideal. It's not how we be choosing to spend our time. Sometimes you just gotta do it, right? And it can be frustrating, and sometimes you just need a break, and it's okay to take a little bit of time, have some fun, listen to some music that lifts you up, have a little dance party, and just let yourself have that break. And I love that they put that instrumental upbeat portion in it, because it's like the perfect time for you to just like dance along and have fun and lose yourself in like the music and that moment. And like I'm saying, I feel like this would be so much fun live with like, the call and response, all of the like repetition of like the hey hey and the like nanas and lalas and stuff like that, to be able to like cheer along with that in the crowd. And yeah, all the call and responses that we get with like Han and Chiang and stuff like that. So love getting that in there too. But then at the end, like really pulling it back, and like that, like I'm okay, like I'm happy now, like right now, like again, so sick of my alarm, but it's okay. I can take a moment and just be happy and remind myself that there are moments when I'm not gonna have to worry about this. There are good things in the world, there's joy, there are things that can lift you up, and sometimes you just need to remind yourself of that, right? You can get so worked up by something that is upsetting you or frustrating you that it can just pull you even into a darker mood, and you need to just like, take a moment, set it aside, listen to a song, have a little dance party, go for a walk, eat something that makes you happy, have a moment of just remembering what brings you joy and letting yourself have a break. And I just, the overall song just like fun, it bops, and I love that. I love that they just like, gave us a song that's like, hey, you need like 3.5 minutes of reminding yourself that you're allowed to just like, dance and have a little fun moment. Look at me, I'm looking. I don't know where you thought I was looking instead, but I'm looking at you. Ooh. I feel like I've heard a portion of the song. Killing Voice, maybe? Ooh, a little breakdown? I mean, where's the lie? Ooh, okay. Whoa. One, yeah, I think I've heard part of the song. Either it was in their Killing Voice, or it was in the guide that I checked out. I do not trust myself to remember all the way back to that guide, though. And I don't remember how much of the B-sides were in that. But they did a lot of songs on Killing Voice, so it's definitely possible that this song was somewhere in there. Love all the synths. It's got like a retro feel to it. It's giving me 80s with these synths and keys, right? The MIDI keyboard almost. Love it. Love the breakdown too. They have the like whoop drop sound. I know, they should just use my sample for this. Cute so far of I'm right in front of you and like, why aren't you looking at me? And I'm right here. I can see your heart. I understand, but you're a little bit too shy to actually look at me. I like the I'm prettier today. I'm like, where's the lie though? From Momo? There's only truths there. Ooh, little vibrato she put in there. I love that cadence. Ooh, okay, I love that cadence on the Nayeon's part there, but I love how there's like a repetition in the Korean words of that ba syllable, and it's slightly different depending on the vowel that they're using after that B sound. But because it has that, it just adds this wonderful rolling feeling to the sped up delivery of it, especially with the kind of trying to get someone to look at me in my eyes. I'm right here. It has this almost like fun delivery to it that I feel like, I don't know, diffuse the nerves of the situation a little bit. But I definitely feel like I've heard that clip somewhere, that part specifically. So cute though, and I love the group vocals where we have like the one word at the beginning of the line where they're all singing together, and then they'll look at me repeated. Super cute. Okay, so like the way that Diane did the like eye contact, like that like pronunciation there. Also, that whenever they say like just once there, I was like, us? Once? Name drop? Sana. It's so cute. Ooh, the synths are so fun. That's so fun. Like, I love that phrase has specifically that like repetition of sound and like the contrast of the way that they're elongating the look at me in English and then having that like really sped up version of the repetition in the Korean with that like repetition of that specific syllable. Love that so much. I also love they talked about look me in the eyes for something deeper than words, and then we had Taeyong's line of look at me with love in your eyes or loving eyes or whatever, that I'm gonna be able to understand a bit more about like how you feel, because there was that Hyun's verse before that where it's like, do you like me, do you not like me, like why are you shy, what's happening, what are you feeling, like all this confusion about what's happening. Be like, hey, if you look me in the eyes, I'm gonna know better about what you're feeling. There's almost this, I don't know, slight impatience to it of being like, I need confirmation, and sometimes it's better than words to just look someone in the eyes and be like, hey, how do you actually feel? It's so cute though. I love all the synths that are going on are so wild, but like in the best way. Call back. Wait, okay, well, we had the TikTok callback, but also we have the On Your Way Back Home Before You Fall Asleep. What was the song? It was in Signal, wasn't it? That album where they talked about just wanting the person to, was it like 3 times a day? Hold please. Yeah, the 3 times a day song, right? Where they talk about specifically wanting them to talk to them when they wake up, before they go to bed, just wanting them to think about them every once in a while, right? When you wake up, when you go to bed. I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry. It feels a callback to that as well, lyrically. Anyway, I feel like we're referencing a lot of different things here. Vocals with that drum fill? Gia. Cute. Oh, so cute, especially with them all ending together. Also, okay, when Nayeon has her first line in the chorus, something about that like cadence of that line, love it. Love all of the retro synths in this. Adore it. Super upbeat, super cute. Love that it's just playing a lot with that repetition of sound and specifically the different repeated syllables in the words. I talked about repetition with some of their other songs in this video of them specifically repeating the whole words, but it's interesting that in this one there's that repetition, but it's with that down to that specific syllable as well. It just makes it super fun. I'm going to be repeating that line, the sped up one. I'm going to have to learn the pronunciation of it, obviously, but that's going to be stuck in my head. That look at me, look at me. I'm going to be like going about my life and just singing that to myself because sometimes it gets stuck in my head. There are definitely audio stems of Twice songs that just play in my head all the time. So that might end up being one of them. But super cute song, super upbeat. Oh, I'm gonna be listening to that one a lot. Last song for this video. Also, I can feel that my perspective on K-pop songs has been shifted because all of these songs have been over 3 minutes. My brain's like, dang, a whole 3 minutes? How often does that happen anymore? Rollin, we got. Again, that could mean anything, but I'm here for it. Uh-oh. This sounds funky.
I can't handle it. 왜 이렇게 말을 안 듣니? 나도 내가 제어가 안 돼. 어릴 때 정말 스케이트 끝까지 감수인 내 안에 같이 존재하나 봐. 천사와 악마가 지시는 막 컨트롤 하나 봐. 아우.
Okay, that's what we're doing. That back and forth though, with their voices. I don't know if I've ever heard Junghyun get that specific tone with her voice. No, love at first sight is real. Okay. I'm in for it now.
I can't handle it. 왜 이렇게 말을 안 듣니? 나도 내가 제어가 안 돼. 어릴 때 정말 스케이트 끝까지 감수인 내 안에 같이 존재하나 봐. 천사와 악마가 지시는 막 컨트롤 하나 봐. 아우. 자꾸 이랬다가 저랬다가 헷갈리게.
With that vocal sample.
시간 한 시간 전에 취소 통보를 해. 나도 모르게 무섭게 흔들려. 더 심하게 나도 내가 무서워져. 이랬다 저랬다 나도 나를 lose control. 빙글 rolling. 아우. Hey, 흔들 rolling.
I know I'm interrupting. I know I didn't want to interrupt on the drop. Why is it so much fun? Why are they having so much fun with their vocals? Okay, the production, fantastic. When I say I love bass, this is what I mean. This is what I want. But also the amount of fun that they're having with their voice, these little cries, and yeah, cute, but so sassy. Love it. They're talking about these ups and downs, these angel devil, this back and forth, this swinging, right, of how they're feeling. So having all of this bounce and character and the sudden sharp uptick of their vocals just fits with that so well, especially with the bass of the actual production in the back, right? So it's like filling like the bottom end of the auditory like spectrum, right? And then you have like their voices swinging up into those higher places in these like really fun ways. Also, there's a lyric where they said more and more, which is a title of one of their songs, right? Not to continue to make references to other songs, but that's one of their singles after this. Probably not a direct reference, but it is interesting that there seems to have been a reference to it earlier. I adore this song. You know what? The beginning of this album, I was like earth-shattering, new favorite thing, absolutely adoring it. These few songs, definitely enjoyed them. Didn't get to me the same way that the first few songs did until this one. You pulled me back in, okay? You were like, we're gonna do the fun songs, we're gonna do the cute things, we're gonna mess with your brain a little bit because we're gonna be breaking some rules and stuff and just trying some fun things. I'll get there with that song. And then this one, they're like, and then we're gonna rope you back in with just like how good our songs are. Because like, what is this? Amazing. I haven't even heard the chorus properly yet. I'm already in for it.
Rollin. Ow! Hey, 흔들 rolling. 빙빙빙 rolling. Hey, 흔들 rolling. 빙빙빙 rolling.
The ad-libs are so good.
이상해. 떨어지는 낙엽에도 예민해. 네 행동은 너 하나에 밀려졌다 당겨졌다 웃음내. 책을 봐도 답은 있지 않아. 친구에게 말해봤자 놀림이나 받아. SNS는 주는 화풀이. 해시태그는 selfie plus rolling. 맨날 좋아.
No, because for personal reasons, I have to go back. One, the ad-libs, super fun. The shaky Rollin, the repetition of it, so much fun. Talking about retro beats and the song before. This one is retro dance, synthy. Love it so much. For personal reasons, though, I have to go back for Dayan and Chaeyoung. Because when they get to just do the rap verses, when they just get to do it, chef's kiss.
나 요즘 살짝 이상해. 떨어지는 낙엽에도 예민해. SNS는 주는 화풀이 해시태그 new selfie plus rolling
The like hashtag selfie social media bring brought into.
강아지 산책시킬 땐 먼저 연락을 해
Also, we had this I like you then I get mad at you. We had that in the last song as well. Was it Taeyong's part where she talks about she was getting mad because you're not looking at me? So it's again that feeling of I like you, but then also that mixture of frustration and impatience that kind of leaks into it too, and the mixture of the cocktail of feelings that you can have when you feel any way about someone, let alone when you feel strongly about them. Also, it's like to develop any kind of relationship, you get a mixture of feelings, right? Especially since we had earlier on in the album of again like that heartbreak and that person who you thought was promising you that they felt the same way, that we're going to start an actual relationship with you, that you were like on the same page with, and then it turns out that you weren't, and having that betrayal of that and lack of trust that came from that, pulling that forward to now where it's, hey, I feel that way about someone again, but it's this roller coaster of emotions because can I trust you? Can I not trust you? I like you and then I get mad at you. This push and pull between us and like all of this teetering back and forth of highs and lows because you don't really know how to feel about this relationship, how to feel secure in it because of maybe past experiences or just the complexities of getting older, right? We've had some talk about that too with 24/7 of sometimes you have stuff going on and that affects you in lots of different ways, and you pull that forward into the way that you're treating someone that you might have feelings for, that you're in a relationship with, even though it's not about them, but it's just because of the stressors and other stuff that's going on in your life. The older you get, the more that you're gonna have to deal with those, and it just makes things more complicated.
강아지 산책시킬 땐 먼저 연락을 해
I love all the voice samples.
나도 모르게 무섭게 흔들려 더 심하게 너도 내가 무서워져 이랬다 저랬다 나도 나를 lose control finger rolling
I love the distorted vocal and the ow!
finger rolling hey 흔들 rolling finger rolling 머릿속이 점점 하얗게 되는 걸 아직 내 것도 아닌데 널 내 맘대로
Love that pullback.
나도 내 맘 잘 몰라 Can't let it go, can't let it go 아직은 네가 너무 편해 나도 모르게
No, because I was going to talk about how I love that we pulled back and that we gave that to Tsui. She has such a delicate, softer sound to her voice that I think she lends really well to that. I was going to talk about that. I was going to talk about how Nayeon put a little cry in there, which she likes to do every once in a while, which I feel like is like a personal attack. I feel it in my chest every time that she does it. And then that distortion and wind up before getting into it sounds like a bunch of layered vocals as we get into the final chorus. Stop. Everybody stop what they're doing. I need a minute. You can't. What a note to end up on this reaction. I'm so excited.
finger rolling 머릿속이 점점 하얗게 되는 걸 아직 내 것도 아닌데 널 내 맘대로 잘 수 없잖아 나도 내 맘 잘 몰라 Can't let it go, can't let it go 아직은 네가 너무
That
편해
full pullback.
나도 모르게 무섭게 흔들려 더 심하게 나도 내가
Is that Nayeon holding that note in the back?
이랬다 나도 나를 lose control finger rolling
There's so many layers there.
finger rolling
Hot bops.
finger rolling
No, don't leave me. No, wait. 3 minutes is still not enough. Where's my 10-minute long epic? At some point, maybe they'll have to give it to me. I can't even express how much I love that song. Ooh, I don't know what my favorite song's gonna be at the end of this whole album. Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about that. I'm gonna have to reconsider a lot of things. I'm gonna have to listen back a lot more before I make that decision because it's gonna be a tricky one. Usually I'm like maybe 2, possibly, then I'm like switching back and forth because the lead single's usually really good, but then there's usually like a B-side that I'm just like, I adore this song. I need to listen to it a lot. But this one is because there's so many songs, there's like a lot. in here that I'm just like, I got 4 that I gotta think about. There's still songs left. This is definitely a contender. My voice is even breaking about it. Love it so much. I love how they also used pauses in the production. Like we had it at the beginning. Love that you just gave me like a little showcase of Jungyeon and her voice. Had it with the bridge there with Nayeon. There was another moment in the second verse as well. I feel like it might have been during Taeyang's part that it pulled at the production a bit. It's so good, so good. Bounces, grooves, the bass and production are so good on this. They're having so much fun with their voices. We'll never ever get over before the drop, and just so much fun. I also feel like the line distribution was pretty good as well. I feel like everybody got a really good moment in this. Maybe I'm wrong, but just considering early on in their music and how it was like inconsistent to say the least of whether or not we were going to really get to hear everyone, this one felt really good. Yeah, no, this one playlist immediately on repeat for the next few days. I'm going to be annoying about it. Okay, candid talk, bring it in. I feel like this is not as strong as the beginning of the album. That being said, 24/7 and Rollin definitely up there for some of my favorite Twice songs. Okay. Also going into this, I was like, I feel like the middle of an album is definitely where the weaker end of the songs go comparatively, right? Still really good songs, but we put them in the middle because it's a little bit easier to end cap the album with the ones that you know are like really gonna hit, which makes me a little bit nervous for what the ending of this album is gonna be, because the beginning was fantastic. And maybe that's just comparative too. The beginning of this album, super good. I loved it so much. Someone else is probably gonna have a different opinion than me, so maybe the songs that I'm like, I don't know about this as much, y'all favorite song, right? Totally fine. I understand that I tend to like the more obscure B-sides. If I look at the streaming numbers, they're usually the ones that are on the lower end of the streaming numbers, but I love them. So I feel like not as strong as the beginning, still super strong, still some of my favorite songs that I've heard from Twice so far. Also just felt like a little bit more scattered, but maybe that was me. Entirely possible that I'm more scattered going into this one than the first part. I'm willing to concede that. But Rollin, so much fun and upbeat, groovy. Love all the synths. I love me a retro moment. Really want to see some of these songs in a live setting and see like the energy of that and how they play off the crowd and stuff. Just excellent all around. So excited. I love that I have so many more Twice songs that I get to listen to now, and some wonderful moments in it of just getting to hear some good vocals. Jio was just serving in moments when she really didn't need to, and I know that I should get used to that because that seems to be a habit of hers, but dang girl. And we got some good Jungyeon moments, and Sui, always love that for me. Always love when we some actual Sui lines, and Jungyeon is just like killing it with the vocals as well. Great all around, honestly. Loved it. Can't wait to finish off this album so I can just listen to the whole thing front to back. So many good songs on this release. I totally understand why people are excited for me to finally get to this album, like why this has been one of the ones at the beginning of me getting into Twice that people are like, you have to listen to this album. You just have to. Super excited to get to the final part and see how they're going to end off this album. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. I'm already, even if the ending of this album is meh for me, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to the whole thing on multiple times because like there are already songs in it that I absolutely love, but I don't think that it's gonna be bad. I honestly think that my favorite song is probably on the end of this album. Predicting it now. We'll see what happens, but I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my praise reactions, or you can subscribe to me the next time I post a Twice reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.